All right, everybody, what is going on? Good afternoon. We are here on a Wednesday. There's no game at the end of the week. Things are slowing down a little bit. There's a lot of storylines coming out about this Super Bowl, but in terms of actual football content, it's a little bit muted right now. So we got time to talk about some other things beyond just this upcoming Super Bowl game. Although I understand that if you're a Seahawks fan, you probably don't really want to be talking about too much else because it's so cool and it's so hard and it's so rare for your team to make the Super Bowl that when it's here, you just really want to soak it in. And I'm right there with you guys to the point where I completely forgot about something that started actually yesterday. Normally, I would have been all over this, but yeah, the Senior Bowl actually started yesterday in Alabama. Normally, that's something I would have talked about beforehand and something I would have been super into, but this year, not so much. All right, everybody, before we go any further into the video, I want to take a minute to tell you guys about a wonderful app called Sleeper, a one-stop shop for all your sports needs. You can celebrate and chat about sports in real time with other users. You can get all kinds of scores, sports news, and sports alerts with blazing fast speed. And of course, you can play in fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests. So enjoy sports with other people in a community. Download the Sleeper app today and remember to use the promo code SBN, that is SBN, for up to $100 match on your first deposit. And they also have a free $20 entry right now, no deposit required. So pair those two up. Terms and conditions do apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states and growing. Check out the Sleeper app and have fun with sports this year. Right. So, just to quickly go over it, the Senior Bowl is an annual event that takes place around this time of the year where the senior players, so often the older players for obvious reasons in college football, get together and have joint practices and eventually they play a game, the Senior Bowl game. But it's an opportunity for these somewhat older players that are often going to be, I mean, I don't wanna put too fine of a point on this, but a little bit less appealing to NFL teams because they are a little bit older. It gives them an opportunity to really put their abilities on display and kinda get to that area where they're at least matched up against fair competition. Like, if you're a senior player on Georgia State or somebody like that, you probably got to match up against far inferior competition most of your career, and this game helps. And it's also a good opportunity if you are a senior player who was on a great team that was always dominant. It kinda helps isolate you and what you can do individually. Like, maybe you were the starting guard on the Oregon Ducks and you looked great, but are you actually great, or were you just part of a great system? If you get into these practices, maybe these scouts have the opportunity to kind of see what you do away from your other all-world offensive line teammates. So the Senior Bowl is cool. I like it. Normally, I would be talking about it a lot, but I didn't really think about it all that much this year. And I think everybody can understand why. I'm not going to get super in depth into anything with the Senior Bowl this year because we have more important things going on. And I don't think there's a big market for Seahawks fans spending a lot of time thinking about draft stuff right now. Normal conditions, absolutely. If we had lost on Sunday or we had lost before Sunday and we weren't in the Super Bowl, then very much we'd be spending time on the Senior Bowl. But um, in light of the team still being alive, it's hard to focus in on something like this. But I did want to talk about this a little bit because it's still a cool event and you can learn stuff from it. So while I didn't watch it and while I didn't follow it, I did round up some quick thoughts on it after the fact. I did watch some stuff in what's the right word? Not hindsight, but I watched some stuff after the fact, after it was over. I watched some of the cut-ups that people put up on the internet, and I did kinda get a feel for what went down. I read some articles, I looked into it. Like, I definitely want to follow this stuff a little bit, even if I don't follow it as much as I typically would. So, I do have a few notes here. It's not going to be a lot, just being honest. Not going to get super in depth into the Senior Bowl right now. Although the rest of this week should be pretty quiet, so maybe I'll make more Senior Bowl videos tomorrow and the next day to talk about whatever happens. But some of the standout performers, some of the notable performances from yesterday, which was day one, the first day of the Senior Bowl. I'm focusing in on players that I could see the Seahawks having a need for. Like if there's a tight end who looks good, that's not really something I'm focusing in on, right? I want to focus in on players that could actually help this team and that makes sense for this team. Like the first guy was TJ Parker. TJ Parker, edge rusher out of Clemson, probably a late first round pick. I don't know if he's going to be there at 31 or 32, but certainly could be. He very, very strong guy. Definitely an edge rusher who can hold up against the run. Definitely going to do that. So we kind of knew that. There are some concerns with him as a pass rusher. What is he going to be able to offer as a pass rusher? So one thing that's very important for TJ Parker in this Senior Bowl is showing off that he has the moves as a pass rusher. And we did see a little bit of that in the Senior Bowl yesterday. We did see him actually put some moves on some guys. He had a bull rush, which I know that bull rush is just power and strength, but he's got to show that he can win rushing the passer some way if he wants to justify a first round pick. You had Zion Young of Missouri, another edge rusher, currently projected to be like a second round pick. Um, Showed off some really nice pass rush moves in the one-on-ones. He went up against a couple of different offensive linemen and he looked really good doing it. Looks like somebody who can win multiple different ways as a pass rusher and also is able to play on possibly every down. It's always hard to know with that until these guys get a little more NFL experience, but he looked good. Another guy who looked good was Derek Moore, an edge rusher from Michigan. This guy is currently projected to be a third rounder. He's very strong. He's very stout against the run. He is admittedly mostly a run defender. He has a bull rush, and he showed it at the Senior Bowl yesterday in the one-on-ones. He looked good, but not necessarily a wide range of moves that he can put on, but he does a really good job of putting offensive linemen off balance with the momentum and force that he creates when he goes into contact with them. So Derek Moore, I think, was a winner yesterday. He caught my attention. A couple of wide receivers as well. Malachi Fields, the Notre Dame guy, he was I think he's like a third round pick estimated right now. Notre Dame. He's the biggest receiver in this class. He's like 6'4, 215 pounds. And he showed that he knows how to use his size. He's making contested catches. He's getting balls outside of his body with his big catch radius. And he also showed that he can stack cornerbacks and win downfield a little bit. So that's going to be key because he's not a great separator. He doesn't have great speed. But if this Seahawks team loses a guy like Rashid Shaheed, which I want to be clear, I don't want to lose Shaheed. I would consider it a pretty big disappointment if we lost Shaheed in the offseason. But if we do, Malachi Fields, I mean, I don't think he's a good enough route runner necessarily right now to be a good part of this offense, but definitely intriguing. Also intriguing at the receiver position was Ted Hurst, a wide receiver from Georgia State. So this is a small school guy. He's also got good size. He's like 6'3", and he made a beautiful highlight reel one-handed catch in the end zone during practice yesterday. So those were the guys who really kind of popped out to me positively. There was one linebacker from Pittsburgh. I think his name is Clark, but I'm not 100% sure about that. He looked good. The linebacker class in this draft in general is strong. I don't know how invested to get into that because Seattle seems pretty good at linebacker right now. They just gave Jones a contract. Drake Thomas is going to be cheap to bring back. Tyrese Knight's still on his rookie deal, and I still like Tyrese Knight a lot. So I don't know how invested to get into that. I think Katron Allen looked pretty good as well. So, God, I'm trying to remember all the other little bits and pieces of information I was able to pick up. Julian Neal, a cornerback that I know some people like for the Seahawks. I didn't think he looked too good. I think he was the guy who actually got beat by, I think it was Ted Hurst on that one-on-one on that one-handed catch on the 9 route, and I don't know, I didn't see a lot that I liked with him. It's just 1 day of practice, but Julian Neal knocked down a little bit probably. There was the, Gabe Yakas, the edge rusher from Illinois. I thought he had a good day. He looked really good, so that's gonna be an interesting, I'd say right now, 3rd round, pick, and if he's there for Seattle in the 3rd round, I'm all over that easily. So, there's some other stuff too, but those are the things that kinda popped out to me as, standout positive performances, and I also threw one not so great performance in there, I guess, with, Neil, but, yeah, not gonna spend a ton of time on the Senior Bowl this year. Again, it's a good way to fill some time while we're waiting for the Super Bowl, but when your team's in the Super Bowl, this is just not the kind of stuff that you really feel all that motivated to get into. All right, I'll see you guys later. Go Hawks. Let me know what you think. Did you watch the Senior Bowl? Did you take anything away from it? Let me know down below. Yeah, see you guys soon. And we'll see if anything happens later today to talk about, but this is where things start to slow down for us as we await one final game.